Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Tracey, Kitching and Ashok Alexander. Great to see you.
Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm so excited for today's topic because I know this is a little bit of a hot thing at the moment in businesses of all sizes. So I'm super excited.
And nice to welcome all, and happy to be here, Tracy, Reena, and all of you guys.
I know it's absolutely great having you on, Ashok.
Yes, it's wonderful, Ashok. Tracey, why don't we tell everyone around the world what our topic is for this week?
Yeah, I'm so excited because we're doing making better business decisions with AI-driven data analysis. So it's super important for businesses of all sizes, whether you're a solo business owner or whether you own a multinational corporation. It really doesn't matter. The topic is of supreme importance.
Absolutely, Tracey. And, traditionally, we've looked at historical data to make decisions for the future, but now there's another way. And
there
Ashok,
is. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, Ashok's got a lot of experience, in seeing the different trends within people, within organisations. So, Tracey, tell us a little bit more about what are the key things that we need to be looking at.
Sure, no problems. Look, what I've done is I've sort of did a little bit of a comparative view of the traditional way of data analysis and now with the new AI-driven data analysis. Traditionally, like data handling is a huge thing. It's limited traditionally by volume and complexity, and it's primarily structured data. Whereas AI-driven data analytics is more, it handles massive, complex, structured and unstructured data. So, and the thing is, it's real-time processing. That is a huge thing because you're able to move at unparalleled speed, unparalleled scale, and you get unparalleled depth of the analysis. So, as I was just mentioning, speed and efficiency by manually handling all those things, it's really time consuming and resource intensive. And I'm sure Ashok would agree on that. It's really like the traditional way. You've generally got a lot of data analysis in your business and, looking at all the different types of data, and it takes you a little while to organise and structure that.
Tracy, on that point, I was just going to say, there's a lot of unhidden patterns.
Yes,
That's
very much so.
Yeah, the technology really helps in that, yeah.
Yeah, because humans can't see it, can they, Ashok, sometimes? So having that AI-drivenness of the data really helps uncover some patterns, unhidden patterns, or hidden patterns, should I say. And also really what I've noticed is a deeper correlation to the data sets. So that's another, like you're able to take one data set and another data set and more data sets and really get a comprehensive deep analysis of your business. And obviously with AI, the automation level is huge. Like it can automate the data prep, the analysis, the modeling, and great amounts of insights, should I say. But the biggest thing, I think, for analysis with the traditional sense to the AI sense is traditionally the analytical focus was descriptive, like what happened. So they're going in historical ways, and the diagnostic as to why. Now, those are both supremely important. Would never discount those, which AI can do. But what humans can't do very well is the predictive analysis. So what might happen with your business? Given the information we have, what might happen? And the prescriptive. So what should we do? So giving you insights and giving you actions on what can happen, like, marketing, for example, like there's a new market might pop up or you might have a new competitor in that area. Well, how can you then differentiate yourself? And all that analytics can really help you guide that. And accessibility, to be perfectly honest, especially for solo business owners or small business owners that can't afford to employ a data analyst. So, because it requires specific skills of that of being able to read and control data. Whereas with an AI, it's becoming more and more accessible via NLP, low-code tools, augmented analytics, and there's more people out there that are being AI trained or upgraded into using AI, and therefore the cost is a lot lower. So they're just a few things that I've discovered. I'm sure, Ashok, let's hand over to you because, this is your key area.
Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, wonderful touch points like about how before we used to have a certain pattern, we used to have certain code, and this is what we are trying to trace. But like very common example of pricing, if we take now, is that the stock can vary and the trends can vary, and then with the help of AI, the pricing can be so automated depending on how much stock you have, how much. So it understands the whole food chain, kind of the chain, not only in your business, but what's happening around your business in your competitor segment. And so it becomes more effective. So you get the best dollar from the market. And it can be again used in marketing messages. Like now there is so automated A/B testing that it will automatically keep improving the messaging by itself. Like I was so surprised that it will keep testing. Oh, this gives better result. Okay, now test this with this, and then this gives better result. So without you doing that much analysis, the computer itself is growing. And there was one company surprisingly even experimented with a CEO. They didn't have a CEO for 2 months. The data was coming into AI system, and AI would generate what action has to be taken. And that was worked well for that company for 2 months, and took some radical decision which the AI told them. They did analyze it after without just not blindly going, but they still thought it was quite a deep insight what the AI could give. So it's moved away from just a very predictive grammar correction type of things to so much more in business. Like another area I was seeing is that you told about the accessibility, because if you think about it, currently the way the technology is progressing, ChatGPT took 7 years of research and development, and DeepSeek came within 6 months. So the life cycle, the way the market can change, if somebody is not AI aware and AI ready, that they would very easily get lost out, because it is very important. It's like learning computer in those olden days. Now it's many countries have made it compulsory from childhood, like China and all has started, like all kids from kindergarten has to start with AI learning as part of their curriculum. So it's a very beautiful change happening in the market. So it is good that you're bringing that awareness to all these people, and beautiful work on you.
And I love how you've described all the different companies or different businesses are using this data analysis, and now with agentic AI coming in and taking it over and doing it autonomously. And it just requires a human to oversee it, and making sure that the data that is actually being used, because that's the other thing, is that there will always be a need, and I'm not for humans being put out of jobs, because you will always need the human oversight, because AI can only do so much, and it still requires input from humans, as in where that data should be collected and taken from, and where it needs to go, sort of thing, and what aspects you want out of it. Because I think, and I'd love to move on to the next bit here, Reena, is challenges.
Yes.
That companies and businesses have, and solo entrepreneurs is, it's that same old adage, data quality in, data quality out. You have garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
So that is a challenge, because a lot of people don't know, well, what's good data? What is a good quality data that we need to be inputting, or for the AI to grab, to then give it a really good output and really, strong knowledge for predictive behaviours. So there's also the integration hurdles, because a lot of business owners and a lot of boards and CEOs and directors, they're not AI savvy. Because, and I understand why, they've got a lot on their plate, and it's just another thing to add on to it, which is why people like Ashok and myself and you, we have this AI knowledge, and we consult with businesses to see where that implementation can happen, and train staff as well, because that's the other thing, is the AI skill gap. is another challenge that businesses have. And I think with that skill gap, you really need to have a look at what skills, AI skills, is within your company to start with, and then build on those, and then have them become your cheerleaders, and those guys help train. So, because the other thing is fostering that culture of change management and implementation, because that is a huge challenge, because people think that it's going to take their job away, when that's not how AI should be used. AI should be used in a very strategic manner. And please jump in here, Ashok, if you have seen it used in a very strategic manner, because it doesn't have people losing their jobs. What it has is people upskilling themselves so they can use the AI that they're bringing in, and then that frees them up to be able to strategically become a strategic partner in their role for the business, and really valued for who they are and what they bring to the table.
True.
So there's that.
Very similar. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's very similar to the computer analogy, because computer is not solving all your problem. It's kind of a tool. It's an extended tool from when you think from a calculator to a computer, that much. So it's that same evolution has happened into AI, which the infrastructure and the system has got so much more intelligent. But it's again like a puppy need to be trained. So it's not like just automatically do your job or something. So the prompt engineering is getting so much more priority and importance, that it's not so much how you find answers these days, it's how good you can ask questions so that the systems can work as effective for you. Yeah, so that human role is only getting evolved into even more higher level of creativity and ability. So if the company want to keep gaining that edge, works together and try to explore those spaces, yeah, it's a very important step forward. Yeah,
Key
yeah,
point.
definitely.
And I think that's where Tracey steps in. She's got the ability to train the puppies. Let's get them started, acquire the knowledge.
yeah.
And that's Tracey's area of skill set. Definitely, people.
Yeah, and that's what I love doing. That's my primary role, is education within this area. And, really training that staff. I just love doing that. And, coming in and basically helping you identify where AI can actually be implemented within your business, because sometimes you think AI can be, but your systems aren't ready for it. So there might be like, this is for the so maybe in 3 months' time, when you have this bit, and this bit all in place, because your AI will only work as well as what I said, as the data you put into it, or the systems that you have, systems and processes. They need to be spot on to be able to identify where that AI can fit in. And that's no different with data-driven decisions. And I'm guilty of this myself. Sometimes we make business decisions on emotion, not on data-driven analysis. And you soon get smacked in the face with it, that's for sure, when you are making decisions emotionally.
Plus a big loss on time and finance. Yeah.
Absolutely. And emotional costs too. Like, because, owning a business or running a business, it is a little bit of an emotional roller coaster at times. And having that really descriptive AI data analysis can really help with making those decisions and removing the emotion out of it, because you've got it there. So I think that is absolutely brilliant. The only thing I will say is ethically, because ethical considerations comes up all the time in my discussions with business leaders. So things like looking for bias. Now, I know ChatGPT has just pulled their latest update and model because the bias was so positive that it was agreeing with everything anyone was putting in, and that was what was coming out. You don't want that, especially with data and analytics. You want it to be as unbiased as possible and give you an actual real good breakdown. So you do need to be aware and put in certain prompts in your prompt engineering to make sure that it's completely unbiased and it is giving you pure predictive stuff. So in what we should do and what might happen, so I think that's really important. And privacy always comes up as well. as an ethical consideration. So either like the bigger companies, they have it on their own internal servers. So that's never really an issue. But the smaller companies and the smaller businesses look at the data, where that data source is going. So I personally wouldn't use ChatGPT uploading business data or personal data. I would look at more the closed scenario where Claude is brilliant, and Claude is phenomenal at analysis. And there's like probably a bit biased here, talking of bias, but I wouldn't be using the Chinese companies either. That's a little bit too far for me. I do use Manus, but it is got nothing to do with data and businesses. So I mainly use Claude, but that's just because I'm such a huge fangirl of Claude. Ashok, have you found any other AIs that are really good for businesses to use for privacy, in regards to privacy, for data analytics?
Yeah, I find ChatGPT again can be really used a lot in, you can give them like a persona to be a critic or do SWOT analysis. So you can take it into the zone, because normally the program, the more it's been trained, as you said, it's trying to be the nice guy. So if we really want the critical element in it, so you can critique, but otherwise Grok is another software from, it's getting popular for its upfront like it's a lot more not just American based. It's more, the data set is more wider, so you can have a bit more if your country, if your business is internationally like working in a more international platform, it's good to try that. Data has been coming out much better in that. Then also I think about like there are you can use mix and like some AI tools and some proprietary tools to improve your analysis and get better solutions. Yeah, there are using the business BI models, and you can use more. As you said, the integration is another challenge many businesses face, and they don't know how to. They get some analysis, but then how would they work with their real data and get even better quality? Use those knowledge into their business in real term decision making is something again, has to be explored more.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
definitely.
hope around it.
Great input from both of you. It's been a wonderful discussion, everyone around the world. You know, we've talked about making better business decisions with AI-driven data analysis, and we've also talked to you about the challenges. So in terms of your next steps, please reach out to Tracey, DM Tracey Kitching, and we will take it to the next step for you. But really appreciate everyone around the world being here today, and we look forward to seeing you in a fortnight's time again on a Friday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.